Chers compatriotes qui résidez aux Philippines, plus d'un an après le début de la crise sanitaire, je mesure vos difficultés. Dans ce contexte, le moment particulier que constitue le 14 juillet offre une occasion très précieuse pour nous tous de célébrer les valeurs de liberté, d'égalité et de fraternité qui nous animent et nous unissent. À l'occasion de cette fête nationale, je veux tout d'abord rendre hommage au dévouement constant des acteurs et des représentants de notre communauté française des Philippines. Je salue également l'élection en mai dernier des nouveaux conseillers des Français de l'étranger pour les Philippines, vos conseillers, Madame Valérie Cuy, Monsieur Hubert Daboville et Monsieur Christophe Lejeune. Des efforts importants ont été faits pour maintenir à niveau, malgré la crise sanitaire, la coopération bilatérale entre la France et ce pays qui nous accueille, les Philippines, comme en atteste la tenue il y a moins de 2 semaines du 9e comité économique conjoint, co-présidé par le ministre délégué chargé du commerce extérieur et de l'attractivité, M. Franck Riester, et par son homologue philippin pour le commerce et l'industrie, M. Ramon Lopez, dont je salue la présence ce soir à mes côtés, ainsi que celle du ministre des Affaires étrangères, M. Locsin, et du ministre de l'Agriculture, M. Dar. La célébration du 75e anniversaire des relations diplomatiques entre la France et les Philippines en 2022 sera le gage de ce nouvel élan à nos relations. Je salue l'équipe du lycée français de Manille et je félicite les élèves de terminale qui ont tous été reçus au baccalauréat. Je reste pleinement mobilisée pour trouver avec nos partenaires les conditions d'une réouverture, même hybride, des écoles et bien sûr du lycée français de Manille, dans des conditions sanitaires satisfaisantes pour le bien-être de nos enfants et de nous tous. Le lycée français de Manille poursuivra sa mission à la rentrée avec une équipe de direction renouvelée. Chers compatriotes, si la situation sanitaire actuelle est incompatible avec les festivités de grande ampleur qui accompagnent généralement la célébration du 14 juillet, j'ai tenu à soutenir l'initiative des menus français proposés par plusieurs restaurants partenaires de l'ambassade, dans le respect bien sûr des précautions sanitaires. Ils nous offrent ainsi un moment de convivialité bien appréciable et je viendrai tout à l'heure rejoindre certains d'entre vous. Je vous souhaite un très bon 14 juillet. Prenez soin de vous, prenez soin des autres. Vive la République, vive la France. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight, and we're so happy that it can be an in-person event. It's really a pleasure to really host you here. So Secretary Locsin, Secretary Lopez, Senator Hontiveros, Senator Pimentel, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, bonsoir à tous, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. It's really my great pleasure to be among you all today as we commemorate the French National Day, which we call 14 Juillet, or Bastille Day. Today, in particular, is an occasion to reflect on and uphold the democratic values of liberté, égalité, and fraternité, which shaped our nation, and which are also timeless and universal values that we share with the Philippines. While these values have guided France's action domestically and internationally, the COVID-19 pandemic has put at the forefront another important value which I wish to emphasize today. This is solidarity. The only way for us to truly overcome this global health crisis is to ensure that no country is left behind. This is why France, together with its EU partners, has been supporting international mechanisms such as the ACT-A and COVAX facility to ensure that all countries have access to the essential tools, especially vaccines, to combat the spread of COVID-19. We are pleased that the Philippines are benefiting from these mechanisms in order to speed up its national vaccination program. The solidarity between France and the Philippines has paved the way for greater collaboration, especially in the recent years. In fact, we have a very exciting year ahead of us as we prepare for the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. That will be next year in 2022. Our work has already begun, actually. Last July, the 2nd, Minister, Trade and Investment Secretary Ramon Lopez and our Minister Delegate for Foreign Trade and Economic Attractiveness, Frank Riester, co-chaired the 9th Joint Economic Committee meeting, which resulted in economic discussion and commitments covering a broad range of sectors, such as transport, maritime cooperation, and agriculture. France is also glad to count the Philippines as a partner in addressing global challenges, such as the fight against climate change. The climate crisis requires urgent and concrete multilateral action to lessen greenhouse gas emissions, as well as to preserve the planet's biodiversity. I take this occasion to reiterate France's readiness to support the Philippines in building a more inclusive, sustainable, and resilient future through projects in green transport, clean energy, and sustainability. Another area of importance to both France and the Philippines is regional security. France fully supports a free and open Indo-Pacific, founded on a stable, law-based, and multipolar order. As a permanent member and current president of the United Nations Security Council, France will do its part to ensure the international law, in particular the UN Convention on the Law of the Seas, and the sovereignty of the regional partners are respected. France and the Philippines also share a historic attachment to the defense of human rights. Just a few weeks ago, the French government was honored to have hosted the closing session of the Generation Equality Forum, which served as a venue for all stakeholders to come together and put forward swift, concrete, and intergenerational actions in order to achieve true gender equality by 2030. We hope to maintain our constant and constructive dialogue with the Philippines, particularly also including civil society, to ensure that human rights are upheld and respected. It's also important to recognize the role of culture and education in bringing our two peoples closer together. Cultural and educational cooperation are an important part of our work in the Philippines, and we look forward to once again be able to organize with our Filipino partners some of the most popular events, such as the French Film Festival, the Fête de la Musique, and the monthly Cultural Thursday. Clearly, we have a full agenda in the coming months beyond the areas of cooperation which I just mentioned tonight. As we prepare for the 75th anniversary of French-Philippine diplomatic relations on June 26, 2022, I would like to invite you all to share any initiative or ideas you may have which can contribute to the richness and the diversity of the ties between our two countries. In the coming months, we are ready to bring the friendship and solidarity between France and the Philippines to new heights for the mutual benefit of our peoples. So thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Merci beaucoup. I wish you a pleasant evening. Vive la France, vive les Philippines.
Merci beaucoup, Madame l'Ambassadeur. On behalf of the Filipino people, we have the pleasure of having on stage Secretary, Honorable Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr.
Well, forgive the pronunciation. Merci beaucoup, Ambassador. Your Excellency Michèle Boccoz, Excellencies and members of the Diplomatic Corps, colleagues in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of the Government of the Republic of the Philippines, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the government and people of the French Republic on the occasion of the 232nd anniversary of Bastille Day. This year also marks the 74th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the Philippines and France. Since 1947, our friendship remains, and cooperation has expanded to encompass all areas of life, culture, and politics. Despite the challenges posed by the pandemic for the past year and a half, our bilateral cooperation mechanisms have remained active through virtual platforms. 2 weeks ago, we held our 9th Joint Economic Committee meeting. Earlier in the year, we convened online the mechanisms for science, technology, and tourism. Before the end of the year, we aim to hold the second political consultations between our foreign ministers and come up with concrete projects in the areas of defense, agriculture, tourism, and space cooperation. Next year, we will celebrate 75 years of our diplomatic relations. We look forward to collaborating with the French Embassy to mark this milestone with meaningful activities. Ambassador Boccoz, I recall meeting you shortly after you arrived in February, and you have hit the ground running to ensure that despite the pandemic, our relationship continues to grow. Be assured of the DFA's continued cooperation and partnership during your tour of duty in the Philippines. As we celebrate Bastille Day in the pandemic, we are called to remember the spark that set the world on fire in 1789, when the people of France became the citizens of the world, fighting for every person's liberty, equality, and the brotherhood and sisterhood of men and women. Only a few events in history reverberated so vastly that every corner of the world could hear the Marseillaise. In these dark times, we can look to the French legacy of marching ahead with the ineffable, sanguine spirit that will never be defeated. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a toast. To the continued prosperity of the French Republic and the well-being of its people. To the continued good health and success of Ambassador Boccoz, and to the enduring bonds of friendship between the Philippines and France. In honor of Bastille Day, we say, Vive la France!
Vive la France!
Maraming salamat at mabuhay.
Merci. Merci, Honorable Secretary. May I ask you to please stay on stage to be joined by the Ambassador, Madam Boccoz. And I would also like to invite Honorable Secretary Ramon Lopez to join them on stage for the singing of the national anthem, sir. The national anthems, we have the honor and the very great pleasure to have a 14-year-old soprano to lead our anthems, Miss Yumi Sansana. Merci, merci Louis. Now for the official toast, may I just like to call on the Dean of the Diplomatic Affairs, His Excellency Charles Brown. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vive la France! Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! For the official photo, may we also invite our honorable senators to please join on stage.
Very good idea. Very good. Thank you.
I think I saw Mayor Belmonte. May I call on Mayor Belmonte to please join our officials on stage?
Good to see you. Last year. Maybe we got this. Stages of
Mayor Belmonte, forward.
all right. Yeah, a little shape.
If I just do that, I love him.
Okay ba? Okay na? Medyo a little, okay? Yes. Okay. Good to see you here, Mayor. Smile, Audrey. Smiling. 1, 2, 3, one more. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. Jump shot. Yeah.